AP3 wrote in, said, aloha CDC. This question is mainly for Colin and Dustin due to Chris's absence from the last Sacred Symbols episode. The conversation about the ABK deal and how Sony had somehow gained significant ground on the deal not going through was quite fair for both Microsoft and Sony in terms of analysis. I've listened to other video game personalities on various platforms, and they seem to be attacking your guys' opinions about this matter. These YouTube channels being Dealer Gaming and Colt Eastwood, to be specific. They have said that they would love to have Colin on the show to debate about the ABK deal and how Game Pass is profitable, but have not gotten a response from you guys. Would you guys entertain a debate with other video gaming personalities for our own amusement about the ABK deal and Game Pass being profitable? Thanks for the amazing content and take care. I have to be honest, I've not heard from anyone about these things. I don't read the internet. So I'm not really like spending my time like I used to, like looking for things. Mm-hmm. Especially when I was at IGN, I would like seek that stuff out to annoy myself. These days, I'm like, whatever. I appreciate that people listen to the show. I know that the show has a great deal of influence in the space at large and in the PlayStation space specifically. When people invite me on their shows, I usually go on. I have not heard from these people. So no one's reached out to me. I mean, I'm fairly easy to get in touch with. You just have to go through one of my intermediaries. And typically that would be Dustin or Micah, and they'll get you in touch, or you can just DM on Patreon. And I don't think you have to be a patron to do that. That's basically how I get in touch with people. But I don't really otherwise see. I heard on our Discord that there was a lot of discourse about that podcast. Yeah. But I didn't see any of it or whatever. Now, do I want to go and do these shows and talk about it? I'm happy. I don't want to debate anything. I don't know that we need to do that, but I'm happy to have discussions about anything. I can very easily make the case for why Game Pass isn't profitable. That's not a hard case to make at all. And the ABK deal, the virtues of it, I don't know what there would really be to discuss about that, but we can talk about that for sure. I think some people were, as far as I understood from Discord, were annoyed that I was saying that, some games, like the Bethesda games, Microsoft doesn't deserve credit for those games and stuff. And I'm like, they don't, they don't. But here's right. But here's the thing, and I'll let you go, Dustin. But I'm happy to do any show that anyone wants. I'm totally fine. But there's got to be a few rules. Number one, you got to do better than that salty gamer guy. Yeah. Like that was bad news. And it's just got to be better than that. And if I have to explain why Call of Duty and Final Fantasy 16 are different, and I really have to explain that, and I have to explain why buying Bethesda and buying Housemarque are different and all of that, I feel like we're probably not speaking the same language. But happy to do those things regardless. Happy to do it not only in an adversarial way, but in any way. But you got to raise the bar higher than that salty gaming podcast. I don't know what that was all about. That was what was I expected more. I expected more. I guess. You don't remember that when that guy like was calling me out, so I went on his podcast, and then he did so badly that he deleted it off the internet.
When was this?
I have it. I have the full version of it still. This was probably last year or something like that.
Oh wow, that was a while ago then.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that put some people off from inviting me onto their shows because that just went so badly for him. But that was not intentional. That was just him being ill prepared. I'm happy to have these various conversations, but the reason I wanted to bring it up, Dustin, was because I have not heard from any of these people saying like, come on the show, because I always say yes to these things. Like I'm not a hard person to convince and cajole. Like I've never been.
And you're really, I mean, to get in a one-on-one conversation might be tough, but you're not a hard person to reach out to. We mention on almost every show that you can DM our Patreon. So saying you haven't heard back sounds, to put nicely, very funny to us, because it's not that hard to.
They're probably not reaching out to the proper channels. It's probably
I mean, they could be messaging Facebook or something, but it's like we don't read that. So
yeah, Facebook, or like even just like maybe like a mention on Twitter or something, and it's like I don't think you're checking mentions on Twitter all that often.
No, I really don't read them. So like that. I've tried to be, as I removed myself from Twitter, as everyone knows, like more than a year ago, I just read it now, but I've actually just stopped reading my mentions, mostly because my mentions have ceased. And then so that's kind of like, because I'm not saying anything, so no one's saying anything to me and so on and so forth. So I've just kind of gone through. There are times where I'm like, wow, I haven't looked at my mentions in a few days, And then it's usually people talking about other things. I have no idea what anyone's talking about. I missed the conversation. It was 2 days ago, all that kind of stuff. But happy to do these various shows. And yeah, I'm surprised how upset people are about things that are so easy to defend. It's not like it's going to be difficult for me to go and defend Game Pass not being profitable. That's not going to be difficult to defend. Like, it's not going to be difficult to defend why something like Call of Duty being exclusive and Final Fantasy 16 being exclusive might draw the different levels of ire of regulators. I can make that argument. I can make the argument about why buying Bethesda is a different thing than buying any of the studios Sony's ever bought. I can defend the claim of organic growth. I can do all those things. It's easy.
Yeah.
So happy to do it. Reach out and let me know. It might have to wait till January because we're getting into depending, it could happen soon, but we're shutting down next week and we're going to try to take 3 weeks off. So, but wanted to throw that out there. Any other last thoughts, Dustin?
Yeah, I would say now that you've put that out, you're going to have 1 million people ask you to be on your podcast. Just, I'm assuming you would be very selective just because I think that I'm not talking about the 2 creators that were referenced in this write-in, but based on the Twitter stuff last week is just like, there's some people that have a lot more to gain from you appearing on their content than anything else.
Yeah. We'll vet it. Yeah, totally. You're right. I'm usually much more loose because I like doing smaller podcasts. I think that's fun. And it's cool to do for them to have, like a bigger audience and all that. So I try to do those nice things. But you're right. You don't want people to like try to dunk on us to get one on us to bring people over there or whatever. You're right.
Right.
I probably should do it. Like there should be a place to do it and for it to be done. But I'm just surprised that these are the different bones people want to pick just because like I look at those and I'm like, I say way more contentious things than that. That's nothing as far as I'm concerned. I made the case for the Game Pass thing last week by simply saying that I think money in and money out is probably net profit for them, but it doesn't take into account the holistic mathematical equation that's required. That's not a hard argument to make. So I'm happy to go on about that for sure.
Yeah.